All right, thank you so much, Don General, there on his program, War Sunu. Well, I did tell you that focal points today on our discussion segment is to look at, should I say, the latest now in the series of attacks, talking about President Muhammadu Buhari and former President Olusegun Obasanjo. General Olusegun Obasanjo retired. And you know, the first time we had this was actually in January, but then it was a written letter. You know, some have said that it was actually an attack too, attack on the government of PMB, that's President Muhammadu Buhari. That is for some. Why some have said that it was really not an attack, it was a kind of some suggestions. If you had had the cost to go through that letter, you would have seen that it was actually about 16 points that OBJ mentioned that Buhari needs to follow in that letter. But on Monday, we understand that there was also a kind of an attack, just like what I said now, from Obasanjo now coming to the government of OBJ, of Buhari one more time. And of course, in this time, OBJ actually said that the administration of Muhammadu Buhari has failed. That's just the way he puts it. And you know that when we have issues like this, you can rest assured that Nigerians will keep on reacting and also doing so many explanations and to this kind of issue. Well, to look at all this today, we are very privileged to have architect Thaddeus Irabo here, who is the youth leader of PDP in Edo State. So you're welcome to this program this morning on
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and also we're also privileged to have my big brother friend, Dr. Amayu Osahan, for quite some time now. He's not been around. Amayu, welcome one more time to the program this morning on ITV.
Thank you very much, Mr. Evans. Good morning, viewers.
Yeah. And Mr. Osaro Ibizugbe is also here with us this morning. Sir, you're welcome to this program this morning on ITV. Yeah. Okay. Now, we have a voice report so that we really have a basis for this discussion today. Let's quickly see this report and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Giving excuse, we met many challenges. Now, if there are no challenges, then you wouldn't need to come. Yes. Huh? If there are no challenges, you don't need to come. And you come in because you know that there are challenges. And then giving us excuse that you have many challenges, that's why you haven't achieved result. And then you still want to go. The first lesson I learned in my military training is never reinforce failure. What we have now is failure. Never you reinforce it. Never you reinforce failure. Let failure be failure. I'm gone. And if you do not see what you should see, you will then be a victim of what you don't like. Because it's only when you see what you should see and you do what you should do that you put away what you do not like. If you don't see what you should see and you don't do what you should do, you will be a victim of what you don't like.
All right, thank you so much. That's the voice report that I talked about, looking at the recent one between Obasanjo, coming in from Obasanjo to the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. And you heard all that he said, and also some of the things that we're going to look at. Those are some of the things we are going to look at here today. Now, gentlemen, you're welcome to this program one more time. Perhaps I may just start with Mr. Osaro Ibizugbe. Now, Mr. Osaro Ibizugbe, you watched that report. What do you think will be going on in the mind of the president right now? I mean, looking at that attack from former president to President Muhammadu Buhari.
Thank you very much. I doubt if I can say what could be going on in Mr. President's mind right now, but I'm not in his mind. But if you ask me what could be going on in my own mind, I can speak this regard, the activities of His Excellency Chief Olusegun Obasanjo in recent times have become very dramatic. And it keeps me wondering, actually, is that not the same man who wanted a third term for himself after running 2 terms in office as Mr. President? He wanted a third term for himself. He tried to manipulate the National Assembly to craft a third term for himself. Are we beginning to see the actual motive behind that exercise, that pursuit for a third term? Because at the time we thought that, oh, if Nigeria must move forward, if we must build on, whatever gains we were perceived to have achieved at the time, there was need for there was need to sustain a government probably beyond the constitutionally approved number of terms. Hence, he was moving in the direction of getting a third term for himself, to the point of even reviewing, an attempt to review the Constitution, to make some amendment to accommodate a third term. Because most developed societies of the world, you find that it took quite some time, before the government was able to achieve meaningful development. You understand me? So if President Olusegun Obasanjo wanted a third term for himself, I wonder why he's so much in a hurry now to judge President Muhammadu Buhari. Because I remember
is it really judging?
Yes, it's a judgment. When you make an assertive statement that somebody has failed, you pronounce judgment on the person. You weren't guessing, or you weren't mincing words. It was a categorical statement that he has failed. And I recall, in his time as president, Nigerians were crying. There was this hue and cry that Obasanjo had failed the country. I want to ask, what was his own response? I'm sorry I had to come this way at the risk of even ending the program before it's
it's your opinion.
Okay,
it's
fine.
your opinion. You're
so
entitled to your opinion.
When Nigerians cried out that OBJ had failed the country, OBJ's response was that Nigerians had failed themselves. OBJ had not failed the country. So why is he turning around now to cast aspersions on President Buhari's government, that President Buhari has failed the country? You see, this problem in our country has become so huge that nobody is even listening to anybody anymore. We can't even hear ourselves think anymore. We are too quick to pass judgment. We are so much in a hurry at every point in time. I recall President Muhammadu Buhari was less than 1 month in office when Nigerians were calling for his ouster. Less than 1 month in office in this current dispensation, Nigerians were already calling for his removal.
Are you saying that 2 years down the administration is still new?
I am saying that 1 term is not sufficient to even make a meaningful impact, especially in a country like Nigeria, where so much damage had been done by previous administration.
Okay, let me pause you there. Dr. Sahama Mayo, I know you have reactions to make, but let's quickly look at the reaction that came from the spokesperson to the president, talking about Mr. Femi Adesina, who actually said that, that Buhari need not join issues with Obasanjo. And that was the same thing that he said when the letter was written the first time in January. And he also said that that as both of them, they are former military men, that Obasanjo was senior to Buhari in the military. And of course, he doesn't need to join issues. I mean, how would you react to this?
I will take it on three fronts. I would like to, first of all, react to what he said, that one term is not enough for you to make a meaningful impact. I would like to disagree with that, because we can see, I'm not an APC member, but I like what the current governor of Edo State is doing. You can see, most people, they will call him vacancy governor. Before maybe you pass a particular street on a certain day, before you go the following day to pass that particular street, you see that development is currently ongoing there. So 3 years is enough for a president to make meaningful impact in a country if the president is serious and knows what he's doing. I think the president came with a very good social capital, because the people have so much trust on the president. Remember, when the president increased the price of PMS from 87 naira to 145, there was no protest. People did not line up the streets because they had so much confidence on Mr. President. I think the president should have leveraged on that social capital by delivering the dividends of democracy that he promised. I think part of the problem is that the expectation was too high, because maybe the party made so much promises to Nigerians, and of which they are not able to keep to these promises, especially if you look at what Reverend Father Cook has said the other day, that the president should deliver on his manifesto. They're coming down again to the issue of Femi Adesina answering
business. Your business will have been better today if we have a competent and effective and performing government. It will happen.
Even late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, he criticized President Goodluck Jonathan. I think he's a born critic. The only way they can handle Obasanjo is to just let him be, because in an attempt to reply him, I'm telling you now that Obasanjo would have written a second letter before he released that first letter. He was waiting for the president's men, the president's handler, to counter his letter. They will release the second one, and the second one would have been a time bomb. But he cannot release the second one because
and don't let anybody deceive you. Those of you who are in business, your business will have been better today if we have a competent and effective and performing government. It will happen. As I said, giving excuse, we met many challenges. Now, if there are no challenges, then you wouldn't need to come.
Obasanjo has not really come as
If there are no challenges, you don't need to come. And you come in because you know that there are challenges. And then giving us excuse that you have many challenges, that's why you haven't achieved results. And then you still want to go. First lesson I learned in my military training is never reinforce failure. What we have now is failure. Never you reinforce.
In the global sense, because it can demarcate any president. The problem that President Jonathan had was Obasanjo. Obasanjo ensured that America did not support President Jonathan in terms of fighting Boko Haram, because he was able to demarcate President Jonathan in the international space. So it's not good to have issues with this kind of persons. But like I said, we will look at the message too. When I want to take the message and also the messenger. In terms of the message, is there really anything new in what he's saying? Are we saying that the perception index of Nigerians is a lie? Because you and I, every man on the street, I don't think we are better off than we were in 2015. This is not what most Nigerians we are expecting in 2015. We are expecting real change. We are expecting that there will be social welfare. We are expecting that there will be improvement on power, because the APC came up with a power roadmap. I don't know, because I outlined all this, especially when Alhaji Lai Mohammed was speaking. They had the power roadmap. I don't know if they have thrown that into the waste bin now. They also have an education roadmap. They have so many roadmaps. But where are all these? Is it that the president is not. I think there's a disconnect between the president and the people, because he's not feeling the pain of ordinary Nigerians. If you go from Sokoto to Enugu to Bayelsa, people are wailing. That is what they have termed everybody that is complaining, that we are wailers.
When you say it's not feeling the pain, how exactly do you mean?
Because there's a disconnect. The President Muhammadu Buhari I knew before 2015 is different from the president that I know now.
Okay, let me pause.
I would also like to take on the messenger too, because right now he has a lot of jobbers, a lot of political praise singers that are singing political hallelujah. He's not cut off from the people. He doesn't know the reality on ground. Like this morning, you told me that a woman cried to your studio complaining that his husband was beheaded in the farm.
Yeah,
there are so many killings that are going on. It's like we don't value life, and you know that those that don't value life, they cannot enhance life. Okay, that is why I will put it. They're coming to the messenger. Obasanjo is just doing his own because he is aligning behind the third force. That is why he's criticizing the PDP and criticizing the APC. Like I said, the difference between the PDP and the APC is like 6.5 dozen, because there's really no difference. It's just like a player that is changing a club, changing from Manchester United to Manchester City. It's still the same player. Okay, we are tired of Obasanjo. Obasanjo cannot continue to dictate who will rule this country.
Yeah, Thaddeus Irabo is also with us on the show today, and of course he's the PDP youth leader in Edo State. Now Thaddeus, I don't know how you feel about this attack. Does it underscore what your own party has probably been talking about concerning this administration?
I think I'll start by telling my brother here they have done very well. But
no, you speak your mind.
But before I proceed,
you're entitled to
I
your
want
opinion.
to outline the promises that the APC made to us in 2015, and I will give my brother an opportunity to be the judge of their own party. During their campaign promise, I think the first thing was to reduce fuel price from 97 naira to 45 naira. They promised that. Number two, they say we will provide free education at all levels. I don't know if you people have provided that. Number three, we will pay 5,000 naira to 25 million Nigeria every month. Please, you answer that for me. Expand electricity generation to 40,000 megawatts. Number five, increase minimum wage of Nigerian workers. Number six, to stabilize global oil price to $100 per barrel. I don't know if they have such capacity. You wait, but they made that promise. They make that promise. Number seven, to every graduate on allowance after every youth corps service until they find employment.
Where is that source? Where are you getting that source?
That's APC campaign manifesto. We'll go back. Let me land. These were the promises they made to Nigeria. 8, provide free feeding, including food, daily for all public school pupils. We all know that it was all in their billboard. Number 9, revive oil refinery within 1 year in office. We all know about that. I don't know if they've done anyone.
Well, I
crush
think
Boko Haram insurgency in 3 months and release all Chibok girls. Number 11, no Nigerian will go outside the country for medical treatment. And we know our president is permanently in UK.
He's not.
He's permanent. So he has broken the history of any president that has stayed outside his country for over that period of time in the history of this country. Number 12, build 1 refinery every year.
Okay, because of
Number
time
13, I just want to outline so that I will answer me. Create 3 million jobs every year.
Okay.
And we know what Nigerian Bureau of Statistics.
So in other words, what OBJ is saying.
All these things are not, because if you are saying somebody has failed, you look at what he promised when he was coming. On this assertion, you can judge whether he has actually failed or not.
Yeah, but
what OBJ has said is totally correct. This man has not only failed, but has disappointed Nigeria. He hasn't just disappointed Nigeria. He has become a disappointment to government.
Let me pause you there so that Mr. Osaro Ibizugbe can also have his take. Now, Mr. Osaro, you want to react to all that he just said?
Well, I think the issues he raised speak for themselves. I'm not here to launder the image of anybody. I'm here to speak as a Nigerian in the best interest of Nigeria. In all the issues he raised there, I was going to ask him, in all of these, what time frame was given for the realization of all these
But
goals?
I told you,
during
the
let him react to what you said.
Hold on. You see, when APC, I think the party would have been in a better position to react to these accusations. But when come to
you have interest for APC.
No, I'm a member of APC.
So you can react.
All right, I will defend my party at any point in time, at any level.
Okay.
The point I'm going to make is this: that when the party talked about the change mantra, people, Nigerians, the mentality of the average Nigerian was to expect Mr. President getting into office that there was one button there that the man was going to push, and then change will come about.
That's what he made us to believe.
That was what you got yourself.
No, that is what he
That
made
was
us to
what
believe.
you got
If you
yourself to
listen to
believe.
what I said,
Excuse
I
me,
said
sir.
provide job every
The
year. There was time frame. There was time frame.
APC
to all the promises.
Hold on, so that he can.
APC campaigned with a change mantra. And that change did not mean we're going to push a button to bring about a change. It meant that let us, everybody, from Mr. President to the last person, let us change our attitude. Let us change our disposition towards service, especially public service. Let us change our orientation. I'll give you a classical example. If you want to know how terrible Nigerians could be, go to any road junction and watch vehicular traffic. I could take you to Koba Hill, for instance. Between the river and Ramat Park, there is a little failed portion on the road that creates traffic congestion. What do you find? People going up the hill, they occupy all the lanes, all right? And then they move to the other side, coming from the hill, down the slope.
Yeah.
They start driving against traffic. Now you want to wonder, where are they going? The vehicles coming from up the hill, where will they pass? If there is no free flow of upward movement and downward movement,
yeah.
which road are you going to pass? If you block all the lanes, where will your fellow citizen pass? Which opening have you seen ahead that you are trying to drive against traffic to go and pass, that the man in front of you couldn't pass? That is the mentality of the average Nigerian. Always in a hurry. Just yesterday here, I was driving along Airport Road by Zoro Supermarket. There's a road close to by Zoro Supermarket. There were cars parked right there at the junction. Now I was going to pass. I saw the driver of one of the cars still in the vehicle. So as I tried to squeeze myself through the double parking, I told the guy, I said, "Excuse me, sir, without being told, you should know that this is not the proper place to park."
So what you're saying is that Nigerians,
and you know what he told me?
Nigerians
Sorry,
are
briefly.
too much in a hurry.
Nigerians are the
Now,
problem.
let me ask you the question.
So
Now,
excuse me, briefly, sir.
if you had to suggest the time
There's a
frame.
point I want to make.
Yeah.
There's a point I want to make here that will bring it into understanding.
Okay.
Now, the guy told me that I was the third person to be passing there, and I was the only one complaining. Do you understand the mentality?
So the question I'm asking now, if you are
So
to
I
suggest,
told
if you
the-
have to suggest the time for
Yes.
Nigerians, for how long do you think Nigerians should wait?
You know, Doc made a point a while ago. He gave a thumbs up for Governor Obaseki in Edo State that he was trying. He also gave a thumbs up for Ambode. Okay?
All in their first tenure.
That he was both of them in their first tenure. Now, where he missed it, where we are saying that The concept of continuity is what is playing out. Governor Shomole in Edo State laid a foundation. You understand? The same political party. Governor Obaseki is a product of the APC, the same party that Governor Shomole belonged. He still belongs to the party. I'm saying the same party that he provided his governorship service. So Governor Obaseki is building on the foundation already laid by Governor Shomole. Governor Ambode is building on the foundation already laid by Fashola.
So what you're saying is that there's no foundation that the PDP built that the APC it can...
At all. Which foundation did PDP build? Foundation.
All right, let me pause you. I'll come to you much more later.
So the point I'm making is this. It goes back to what I said earlier, that I'm not impressed with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's outburst.
Okay, now, Dr. Simon Mayo, the body language of General Olusegun Obasanjo, it's somehow also suspicious. I remember when he wrote the first letter, that was in January, and the issue of the third force was very much talked about, the Nigeria coalition movement. Now, in that letter at a point, he said that the very moment he noticed that movement becomes a political party, that he begins to desist from it.
That's a life from the pit of hell.
Is that from the pit of hell?
That's a life from the pit of hell.
That he didn't say so?
A politician will always remain a politician.
Okay, well, he said so.
From his mouth.
Now, so the question I'm really asking now, what do you think is the mission of Obasanjo? What is his mission?
To install another president, to foist another president on Nigerians like he has always done. Remember, I can give you a timeline. Remember, Shehu Shagari was just a teacher in his secondary school, a primary school, I think primary school teacher. Nobody knew him. Awolowo was already the governor of the Midwestern, of the Western region. Although some of us were not born, from what I read, we knew its antecedents. But Obasanjo preferred to go and bring a primary school teacher, a secondary school teacher, if I'm getting it right, to come and become the president of Nigeria. This is somebody that has not even managed any business. He has not managed anything. So how can you give him a country like Nigeria that is so diverse, a country that is divided based on religion, that is divided based on tribe? You are bringing a primary school teacher. Remember, this same Obasanjo that is claiming to be sanctimonious now. Remember, he brought late Musa Yar'Adua. He knew that late Musa Yar'Adua was not strong.
When you say
the
he brought, there was a political party.
I'm telling you because I served in the North.
Yeah, but there was a political party.
He foisted late Umaru Musa Yar'Adua on the PDP because at times, I said, look at the message and the messenger. Obasanjo has no moral justification to make that kind of outburst. Not that, if you also look at the message
but all that he's saying, are they factual? Are they true?
Factual. I'm saying
the message is wonderful.
Obasanjo is not the kind of messenger to deliver that kind of message. That is my own problem. The message is intact because what we are seeing today is that this country was divided prior to 2015, but it's now further divided based on religious and ethnic lines. We need a president that can unite this country. As we are today, it's like a particular ethnic group is not superior to another ethnic group. Look at the outburst of retired General T.Y. Danjuma. These are people that have privilege to classified information. Do you think the General Danjuma will just come out and make that kind of categorical statement without having facts to buttress what he's saying?
What did he say? He said that Nigerians should protect themselves.
See, he said that the military is not biased, but that's not to say all the military men are biased. You understand what I'm trying to say? If not for the only hope we have in this country is the army. Our army is overstretched. There is no state in this country where you don't have deployment of the Nigerian army. I even pity them. And these are people that even die during war. their families are not being compensated. If you go to 4 Brigade, go to Ekenwan Barrack, you see a lot of children that are just roaming the barrack. They don't have fathers any longer, and these families are not being compensated. Then you are asking more people to go and volunteer to die for this country. Okay. If an American soldier dies, if you see the kind of burial they will conduct for the soldier, the kind of money they will give to the family, it will encourage more soldiers to die for their country. Coming back to the issue of Obasanjo's agenda, he has a personal agenda. His agenda is to ensure that the third force, whether you like it or not, is the Social Democratic Party.
Well, we don't know that for now.
Obasanjo is a politician. He wants to install another president. Obasanjo loves power. He wants to be close to power at all times. Remember, this same Obasanjo broke President Goodluck Jonathan. When Jonathan was no longer dancing to the tune of his music, he started castigating him. Remember, even in Ogun State, just 3 years ago,
let me meet you on the way. I don't want to step on your tongue. Let me tell you, if we may ask, why is Obasanjo talking?
He has the right to talk.
No,
just you have
no,
right. He's a free citizen.
No, he's talking because of the suffering. Obasanjo is not talking because Nigerians are suffering. Obasanjo is talking because the Nigerian youth have failed themselves.
That's not true.
It's true.
Do you know what is leadership? I was waiting for him to reply you. Wait.
Now, how old is this man?
I'm in my early 30s.
Good. How many of this man's age group have you seen coming out to speak along the lines that Chief Obasanjo is speaking, or to mobilize people, to create, a template that would challenge the government of the day into action in whatever area they feel that the government is not performing? What is the Nigerian youth doing about his own future? You don't see people responding to calls. You make a clarion call that, look, this thing is bad. Let us come together and challenge it. You don't find Nigerians coming out. I'll give a classical example. Power supply in Nigeria. It's a foregone conclusion that we have the worst power supply in the whole region. And what are we doing about it? In a country as rich as Nigeria, do you know how much money the same Chief Obasanjo spent while in PDP? To build, excuse me,
you always go back. Talk about the promises you made. Why you were coming
without yesterday, my brother, there cannot be tomorrow.
Do you know how much your party has spent on power in the past 3 years?
Without yesterday, there cannot be tomorrow. Let's look at the foundation. Let's look at the root cause of these problems. We cannot wish certain things away and expect a miracle to happen.
Viewers out there, I know that some people are itching to join us on the Facebook portal platform. You can actually be with us on www.facebook.com/ITVRadioNG, so that you can also drop your comment. You like the page first, and you drop a comment, and your comment will be taken. Well, gentlemen, let me come to Thaddeus Irabor now. The attack we're actually talking about, was sometime some few days ago, and it was actually at the opening ceremony of Obasanjo's presidential library in Ogun State. And of course, we had this group made up of youths, the New Nigeria 2019, that's the name that they go by now. And it was actually in that forum that Obasanjo made that attack. Now, back to the issue of the youths in Nigeria. Now, at times, one begins to wonder, what is this thing with the youths? Can they just, these same youths accuse the elderly that they have disappointed them. And you find out most times they also run to the elderly for one or two support. Can't the youths, can they be on their own? Can they take leadership on their own? Can they take decisions on their own?
Like what he said, if anybody is saying the youth are not taking leadership at the moment, I think you'll be totally wrong on that. In my late 20s, I ran for local government chairmanship in my own local government. while I was 30, I ran for House of Assembly. I think I was 31 when I became the PDP state youth leader. If you are saying until people see capacity, they will give you this state youth leader of Edo State. Yes. Okay. Until people see capacity, they will give you that opportunity. A lot of youth are not showing that capacity. For people to mobilize Obasanjo to even confront him on leadership, that is capacity already. That means they are not aware of the happenings in this country. You are not saying, you are saying let's take away the message.
Some people see the other way around.
You wait. You just let me land. Yeah. You are saying let's take away the message and let's look at the message. The message is so weighty because it's stating facts. We might have the messengers might have question mark on his head. But what about the message? Can you discard it? The answer is no. This man is speaking fact. Though he has an ulterior motive.
He's not speaking fact.
He's speaking fact
no,
because I have outlined what the party promised. And they have failed us. So that's what
we have said it here already.
Okay, like what?
He was talking about the obvious.
Yeah, you wait. Yes, that's the obvious.
That there are challenges.
You know what Nigerians are even begging
that there are
for?
challenges.
Nigeria wants fuel pump to be 97 naira. Nigeria wants rice to be 7,500 again.
Which Nigerians?
Everybody, is that not what you are looking for?
The same Nigerians are not prepared.
No, we are not talking about it. We are saying you return us back to where PDP left us in 2000.
To change their attitude.
Because if we are talking, it's not about attitude.
How did we get
here?
Do you know
what is leadership?
Right,
do you know what is leadership?
How did we
leadership is about you.
To this situation.
Taking decision and people following you. That is what you want the president. That is what you want the president to do. And the
president is
Nigerians. Gentlemen, let's try to wait for each other.
Let me learn. Early last month, I decided that there must be a youth conference in Edo State, a PDP youth conference. I took that initiative. I discussed with all my LJ youth leaders, my ward youth leaders, my unit youth leaders. Of course, we have challenges. We are not in government. There is no resources. But because of my conviction, I was able to muzzle resources, and we actualize it. That is leadership. There were some of our LJ youth that were foot dragging. But I didn't stop because they weren't following me. But when they now saw success, everybody jumped into the train. That is what the president should do. He shouldn't start blaming the old government that PDP didn't do this. That was not why we elected him. We knew PDP didn't do some things. That's why they issued that apology. There were some things that we didn't do right. Like when you were talking about laying foundation for the other government. Who laid foundation for Governor Wike? Was Amechi there? Amechi is in APC. But is Wike not Mr. Project? He's one of the best governors in Nigeria. So let's go look at. He came into.
By your standard.
It's not by myself. Even the vice president that named him Mr. Project. Go through his antecedents. Some newspaper gave him the best governor last year. What are we not saying? They gave him. Why Amber they came out second?
Window dressing.
It's not window dressing. We are talking about. But he didn't have a predecessor that prepared.
Like that.
Leadership is when you step into any place. Take responsibility.
What's our perception?
He's not taking responsibility.
All right,
that is our problem.
Stop
blaming people.
How do we perceive
do you know where Nigeria got it from? Wait, let me say this. Do you know where Nigeria got it from?
I must do my job. I'm the moderator here, so you hold on. Please, gentlemen, I think I need to advise, let us talk in such a way, because viewers are watching. I mean, let's give each other time to talk so that viewers can follow. And please, I did say that for Facebook, you can join us on www.itvradio.ng so that you can also be part of what we're talking about here. Now, also, Amayo, let me bring you so that these two gentlemen can just cool it down. You wanted to say something, Amayo?
Yeah, politicians will always be politicians. He made mention of youths not being able to take up leadership position. I will not quite agree with him because, whether you like it or not, you need money to be able to vie for leadership position, because the country that we are in, you need money for mobilization, you need money for accommodation, you need money for transportation, you need money for so many things. People that are following you from morning to night, you cannot tell them that they will go home hungry. You need money to feed them. Even Jesus he had compassion on the people and he fed them. So you cannot rule out money from politics. You need to have a certain amount of money before you can even say you want to throw your heart into the ring. If most people, they are looking at Emmanuel Macron of France, that Emmanuel Macron is a young guy, is a youth, is the president of France. Don't forget, this same Emmanuel Macron was former minister of the economy in France. So he has climbed through the ladder. He has learned over time. So, and when he started that movement, whether you like it or not, this is somebody that has been close to government. So you must have some political bigwig to realize anything you want to realize. The other day we were talking about maybe holistic change, or like the kind of revolution they had in the Arab world, like the Arab Spring and all that. I think our greatest problem in this country is tribalism and religion. Tribalism and religion colored in corruption. Because if you look at it,
the other way around.
Yeah, most people.
Corruption colored in tribalism and religion.
Yeah, most people, if you look at it, everybody is looking at what do we get? What can my people get? We are sacrificing competence on the order of tribalism. Nobody is looking at competence any longer. Both parties now, the PDP and the APC, they are busy shopping for a neutral candidate, a sellable neutral candidate. Nobody is looking at competence. Are they competent enough? They're only looking at how to win election. Because they know that if you feed somebody from the south, there's no way the person will win the election. And religion too. You cannot feed a Muslim candidate, Muslim ticket, or a Christian ticket. So our country is so divided along religious and ethnic lines. I think that's the greatest problem that we have. Today, a Southerner does not trust a Northerner. A Northerner does not trust a Southerner. How can the country move forward? That's the greatest challenge that we have. Then coming back to the issue of laying foundation, I don't think, according to Adams Oshomole, I don't think anybody laid any foundation for him, according to him.
Yeah, but we had a governor before.
No, I said according to him, not according to me or according to the people. He said nobody laid foundation for him. And you saw the giant stride that Oshomole was able to achieve while in office. So your ability to perform, it all boils down to preparation. I don't think this man was actually prepared for governance, because if he was actually prepared, I don't think it would have taken him up to 6 months.
Which man are you talking about now?
I'm talking about the president.
PMB,
yeah. I don't think it would have taken him up to 6 months for him to appoint his cabinet. A man that is ready to work will hit the ground running. Right,
but we understand that his victory was actually the 4th time.
Yes,
so for somebody that has been trying a presidential election
that you are
for 4
prepared.
times.
That you have been contesting doesn't mean that you are actually prepared. When you are prepared, we all know that you are actually prepared. Look at George Weah of Liberia. It didn't take him up to 3 weeks before he named his cabinet, and they all had to hit the ground running. And another challenge that he has, it doesn't have bright stars. It doesn't have technocrats. It doesn't have people that are shining stars in this administration. Obasanjo may have his own challenges, but he came up with guys like Nuhu Ribadu. He came up with guys with people like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Obi Ezekwesili, Frank Wike Jr., Chukwuma Soludo, and all that. Then, what's his name? President Jonathan came up with guys like Akinwumi Adesina. He came up with so many guys. So you can see that even when you say that the administration is not performing too well, but you still see some shining stars. I don't think there's any minister in this administration that is doing so well compared to the ministers that we've had in the past. I don't think there's any. I was expecting so much from Babatunde Raji Fashola, with all due respect, but I don't think he's doing too well. Maybe because of the ministry that they gave to him. I think maybe he would have done well in maybe Ministry of Justice, because he's a lawyer. But throwing a lawyer into the Ministry of Works, Power and Housing, no matter how gifted you are, when they are talking about 30,000 megawatts, and they will bamboozle you. It's just like somebody talking about KVA and all that. I don't know.
Okay.
So they'll be able to bamboozle me. I think, I heard that the president is going to the UK soon for his annual vacation. I think he should sit down and rethink and re-strategize and come up with a better plan. I think he still has some amount of time, some ample time for him to be able to do some things to make. Nigerians are very easy to please, like I said. Nigerians are very easy to please. It's just for them to see that you're actually going on the right trajectory. I think this administration is going on the wrong trajectory. Let him sit down and rejig his cabinet, come up with better plans before 2019. Then maybe we can start seeing some some things that will make Nigerians to change their mind. But where we are now, I think we are all willers that
okay, now talking about 20 years.
And lastly, I think the only thing that we prepare for in this country is election. This man here now, this man here, I think the only thing on their mind is the 2019 election. That's
okay, that leads me to ask
we don't prepare for any other thing. We don't prepare for governance.
Yeah, architects.
That's why you see that we have a lot of accidental presidents, accidental governors, because they are not actually prepared.
Okay, now, architect Rabo, the issue of 2019 and Obasanjo, it's so glaring, and also the issue of the third force. Now, I don't know, the PDP, this third force thing, is it okay? Because as it stands now, the PDP is, happens to be, we have so many other political parties anyway, but I think for the APC, the PDP seems to be the only viable opposition that they have. Now, this third force, is PDP bothered by it? Is it going to be an opposition for the PDP, or the PDP is going to collapse into it, or it is the third force that is going to collapse into the PDP?
Anyways, I think I would love to take us down to the memory lane. Before you win any general election, you must have a party that has structure in all the local cranny of that state. And unfortunately, there is nothing like the third force. We are just only presuming that it might be SDP. You can't form a political party that can win election.
Yeah, but we've always had third forces.
Yes, at this moment, it's already belated to have a party that can compete with the PDP. Everything that we are looking at is the PDP has rebranded.
The APC, the APC that
it was way over a year. It was way over a year
before the 2015 election.
Yes, and what they did was amalgamation. It was you come, you have your own force here. I have my own force here. They joined together.
So the PDP is the third force going to join PDP, or the PDP will join?
We are not even looking at the third force, because as far as we are concerned, if it's the SPDP, there is the SDP. That's the home of retired politicians. The life of Jerry Ghana, the Professor Adeniro. That's a retirement home for politicians. That's not a problem. What we are looking at is a new force that has the youth at heart. Our national chairman is in his early 50s. The national woman leader is in his early 40s. The national youth leader is in his late 30s. The secretary is in his early. We are looking at a PDP that is concerned about the youth, that is being managed by the youth, that is giving youth the opportunity to transit into governance. Our former national youth leader is the treasurer of the party, the national treasurer. You see that during the last meeting we had, you see young faces trying to rebrand the party, doing the right thing. So if there is any party that stand to win the 2019 election, is the PDP. Okay. Because what Nigerians are obviously saying is that you even give us the power, just take us back to 2019. We don't want your change again. If you can make fuel 97 naira, you can bring our rice back. You can make school fees. We don't want your free food. Reduce our reduce our tuition fee. Make things the way it was in 2019.
Bring back
what you are saying, just bring us back to the way it is.
Yes.
If we are talking about
that's what I'm saying.
You just brought that.
Back looting of the treasury.
I was going to go there.
Bring back
if you are talking about, they brought list.
We brought out
the list of looters in this country. We saw the former governor of Kano, which is an APC member. We saw Rotimi Amechi, then PDP, now an APC member.
That's the list that PDP brought out. We have about 2 to 3 lists.
But okay, if you are saying PDP is corrupt, is there any person that will be convicted by the law that he was actually corrupt?
Okay, let me have a lot of cases. Let me pause because that's really
it's not on the pages of newspaper.
Let us not
it's
digress.
Not on media.
Yeah.
Go to the court, prove their case.
Okay,
You've not been able to prove anyone.
Okay,
all you are doing is to victimize people. Look at Obaniko Road, that you arrested that he was corrupt. Immediately he joined the APC, he became saint. If you want to arrest any corrupt politician today, just say, I have a last wish, I want to be an APC member. Okay. Your trial stops.
Yeah,
is that the kind of corruption you want to fight?
Back to the issue of the third force, because there's no way we'll talk about what Obasanjo is doing and not talking about the third force. Now, I understand that some members of the APC are also willing, from their body language, very, very willing to become part of this third force. Does that bother the APC? I mean, APC as a party in the 2019 election.
I don't see any reason why it should bother the APC. Reason being that from all antecedents, you discover that there's a wind of change that has been blowing across Nigeria in the political space. Gradually, a certain category of individuals are being swept out of the political space.
Out of the APC?
Not out of the APC alone, out of the political space, because of their nuisance quality. When you are talking about a perceived thought force, for instance, like we mentioned here earlier, people who are focused on election and election alone is their stock in trade. They are not bothered about governance. And you find that the average Nigerian is cowed by such disposition. After election, Nigerians go to sleep. From their sleep, they start wailing. Nothing is working. This man has failed, this and that. As a citizen, what have you been doing? You've been in slumber, and you expect me to perform magic. Even when I develop any policy, and I ask you to follow that policy, you are not prepared to. You want to have your way. And the only way you can sing my praises is if I allow you to do as you please, which is never in the interest of the country. Do you understand?
Are you insinuating that some of the leaders reacting to Buhari's government now are not allowed to do what they want to do?
Yes. Since the advent of this administration, Buhari's administration, you find that there had been a lot of plugging of leakages. Money no longer moves freely anymore. No more free lunches anymore. Any kobo you make now, you want to spend it wisely. Okay. Because it doesn't come, excuse me, sir, because it doesn't come easy anymore. Because the government has been fighting tooth and nail to make sure that plundering the treasury of the country becomes a thing of the past.
In other words, fighting corruption.
Yes, all revenue accruable to this country that this country can develop with.
Yeah, but the recent index
gets into the treasury of this country, all right, and is being managed creditably.
But why all the
just hold on, just
when
hold
you
on,
hear people at times talking about the price of the dollar, you begin to wonder, this dollar you're talking about, is it a local currency or a foreign currency? It's a foreign currency. Where is dollar used? Dollar belongs to the American states, right? Why are people always talking about dollar? Why can't you be productive and raise the value of the naira? What is wrong with naira becoming like the dollar? Strong, powerful. Why must you be talking about, even the tomato seller in the market is talking about dollar, for crying out loud? What we can produce here in Nigeria, we have all the natural resources. Why can't we just bend our backs and become productive? At a point in time, China locked up its borders. Nothing going in and nothing coming out.
Yeah, but those are
they developed from within.
Don't you think that the greatest, I'm just trying to follow your thoughts.
Yes.
Don't you think that perhaps the greatest challenge for Nigerians that are really willing to go back to the farms to start producing for the nation is this issue of the Fulani herdsmen? And that seems to be another focal point.
Let's come to that issue briefly.
Okay.
What has been the response of Nigerians to this challenge?
Or the response of the government is what you should
hold on. The government is doing its own as much as possible. Even if you don't want to give it to them that they are doing well enough. It could never be well enough.
What have they done? Just one thing.
On the part of the citizenry, what are we, you and I, doing?
What do you expect us to do?
He just mentioned a while ago, Doc just mentioned a while ago, what we discussed off camera, that a woman came crying here, that her husband...
But that is off.
That's okay. Yeah. So, for instance, something happened in a farm. There was an attack by some headsmen. Okay? The next thing you're going to hear is everybody calling out to President Buhari to come to their rescue. You now begin to wonder, do we not have security agencies around? Is the police not there? If the police is failing in their responsibility, has it come to calling on the president? What is the community's response to the failure of the police?
Yeah, in some communities, the other day we heard that the IG was saying that all vigilante groups should be disarmed. I mean, some communities have actually gone to take the responsibility into their hands. So it appears that governments may not be necessarily helping communities in this line.
If the IGP...
It shouldn't even be the work of the community.
Excuse me, sir.
He's the commander-in-chief.
Just hold on. Architect,
you are not prepared to do your own bit. You are waiting for Mr. President at the higher point of the pyramid. To come to your community.
Should they take laws into their hands?
Is the law not there?
What is the law?
Is the law not there?
Architect, just hold on. Architect,
is the law not there? Yeah. Does the law not confer that responsibility on the police?
Who is the head of the
security
police?
of life and property?
Architect Irabo, just hold on.
Does the law not do that? Yeah. Now, like I said, when the police is failing, what then is the response of the community? If the IGP is asking, the Inspector General of Police is asking the vigilante groups to submit their firearms or whatever, I am very sure the reason the man made such a statement was to disarm the entire civil society. Whether the communities or the headsmen or whatever, nobody is allowed by law to bear arms. So having issued that order, if anybody, whether the vigilante groups or the headsmen, anybody found with firearms will face the wrath of the law. I think that's the first step. But then, like I said, you go to the police station, you report a matter to the police, and then whether at the division level, the DPO is failing to respond as is expected to, you move to the next level. If it gets to that point where you have to demand for the removal of the DPO or the CP of the state or even the IG, have the people been able to organize themselves to move along these lines? You see where we got it wrong. In time past, we used to have this communal living. Everybody being his brother's keeper. We used to share one another's pains. We used to collaborate. We used to cooperate with one another. But these days, for whatever reason, only God knows, something is happening to this man. I take a walk that, thank God it's not me. Rather than going to his rescue. Because today it might be him. Tomorrow it could be me.
Okay.
All right? So, if the community comes together to say, no, this thing cannot happen in this community again, and then together, collectively, they march to the office of the CP, demanding for action from the CP. Look, in Tunisia, what brought about the Arab Spring? What brought about the, excuse me, sir, what brought about...
Just quickly, because of time. Quickly,
what brought about the Arab Spring?
Yeah.
People got fed up with the government and trooped out.
Okay.
Based on one incident, they demanded the removal of that government. And the government failed.
Okay. Now, Irabo, as we begin to wrap up, our talk for today on this topic, what kind of suggestions should we be making for this administration now? I mean, so that, because these attacks is perhaps one but too many. attacks verbally, attacks in terms of body language, reactions, and all that. So, what suggestions should we be making? Amayo, quickly.
Well, from what my submission, he said so many things that I think the government is just paying lip service to diversifying the economy. Because if you check, if you go to the United States of America, it's only 2% of Americans that are farmers. You don't need everybody to farm, to go to the farm. How many tractors have really come into this country in the past 3 years? How many bulldozers have come into this country in the past 3 years? And we are talking about diversifying the economy. Whether you like it or not, the government is still solely dependent on crude oil. Then if you go to Benue State, for example, that happens to be the food basket of the nation, how many food processing industries do we have
quickly,
in Benue State?
Because of time.
How many food processing companies do we have in Benue State? You see, the time of mango, I think, is approaching. After that season of mango, you not get to see mango again. Okay. The time of oranges will come. After that season, you not see.
So what you're saying is that this government should look at agriculture.
They are just paying lip service to it.
Okay.
And the Minister of Agriculture, like I said, is too old. This is somebody that was made the minister in 1983.
Okay,
and he's still a minister today. What modern agricultural schools has we attended in the past 10 years?
Okay.
Does it even know modern ways of artificial insemination?
All right, let me hold you there. Let me pause you there. Now, architect, quickly, just 30 seconds, quickly, because of time, quickly.
I think this government in total has failed Nigeria.
No, your suggestion. We have said that over and over again.
Every day you get to see killings on pages of newspaper, not development
what are you suggesting?
Project. Our suggestion is that they should just write their handover note.
Okay.
Come 2019, so that they hand it over to the people.
Your suggestion.
I believe in the benefits of continuity, sustainability. When you sustain a government, when you sustain a government or a political party in government over a period of time, you begin to see the dividends.
Okay, so you're suggesting?
You begin to see development. You begin to see that your expectations have actually been met.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, because of time.
Overnight
okay.
That what was promised will be achieved overnight.
Okay. All right. Okay, I think that's where we really have to anchor this discussion today. Very big thank you to Thaddeus. Please, you are going to extend this handshake to Osaro Ibizube down there. Because the hits just extended. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's the idea of what we do here. At the end of the day, we all still come together to agree because we have one project, the Nigerian project. We must succeed. We take a short pause now. Please stay tuned.